Hey, did you happen to watch one of the hottest shows on Netflix this year? Luke Cage? Then I bet you caught all the Easter eggs, right? Cause we sure did. Careful for spoilers if you haven't seen the show, but all that and more coming up right now on Comicisms. Welcome to Comicisms, your friendly Bulletproof Nerd Center. I'm your host, Danny Mac, and today we're going to talk about everyone's favorite bulletproof Harlem hero, Luke Cage. While this won't be a history of episode, there will be an in-depth one coming soon, and when it is, it'll be linked up in the video here in an annotation. That being said, Marvel is the king of Easter eggs. You can't watch a Marvel TV show or Marvel Cinematic Universe film without expecting to find at least a few of these hidden gems in reference to the comics, movies, TV shows, and general pop culture. So we're going to break them down here today. While Luke Cage is working in Pop's barbershop, he showcases his abilities in lifting a washing machine with relative ease as Pops comes in. Pops, already knowing about his abilities, jokingly calls him by the name of Power Man, which is actually in reference to Luke Cage's superhero alter ego from the earlier days of his comics. Pretty cool little callback to the original Power Man comic. Another one that's right out in the open is a street vendor selling DVDs of The Incident, in which is the nickname given to the attack on New York by the Chitauri in the first Avengers film. Tony Stark, the blonde dude, the old man with the shield, the big green monster, and I don't mean Fenway, you can't get better raw footage of the incident than right here, says the young man, referencing the attack and the Avengers' victory in New York. Next, Mariah Dillard references the Kingpin when talking to Cottonmouth. You saw what happened to Fisk, referencing the first season of Daredevil where, DD happened to beat his ass and sent him to jail. Yeah, that's what happened to Fisk. This one is pretty cool, all things considered. We get a callback to Hammer Industries from Iron Man 2 and the Iron Man villain Justin Hammer. Here, Hammer Industries' gun technology is being sold to a rival gang by Cottonmouth, where we first get the name drop. It's unclear as to whether Justin Hammer is out of prison by now, seeing as how he and quote-unquote the Mandarin from Iron Man 3 are both at Seagate Prison, as shown in the Marvel one-shot All Hail the King. Next, we actually get a name drop of Seagate, the prison where Luke Cage was imprisoned in the comics as well as where he got his powers, and our first mention of it in the series by Shades, who is also a Luke Cage antagonist in the actual books. Also, towards the end of the first episode, we get some cool action sequences of Luke stopping a couple of thugs, terrorizing the restaurant below Cage's apartment. There's then an instance where the people he protected tell him, "We want to hire you for protection." However, Luke Cage responds with, "I'm not for hire, but you have my word, ma'am, I've got you." Clearly the first of many references to Luke Cage's hero for hire from the comic books, which later becomes Heroes for Hire when Iron Fist joined him later on. We also get the first of our crossover characters from the Netflix verse, Turk Barrett. You might recognize him as being somewhat of a comedic antagonist in Daredevil in season 1 and 2. Nice to see that some of these bad guys do happen to go to other parts of town, am I right? We get Detective Misty Knight and Raphael Scarf, who are both characters in Marvel Comics. Misty loses her arm in the comics, which is replaced by a bionic arm which is designed by Tony Stark in the books and was an actual part of the Defenders. Hint, that's also an upcoming Netflix show, in case you guys didn't know. In one of the earlier scenes, Cottonmouth says, "Shut up, Black Mariah," to Mariah Dillard, who responds in a purely negative way to the nickname. This is actually a callback to Dillard's comic book counterpart, a rather large woman who is an antagonist to Luke Cage in both past and recent books. While Mariah in the show seems smaller and different from her comic book counterpart, it's an omen as to who she might actually become. During the Seagate flashbacks Luke Cage experiences, we meet both Officer Rackham and Dr. Burstein, both actual comic book characters from Cage's origin. The character portrayals are pretty much spot on in the comics, as well as the reason as to why Luke Cage has his powers. Comanche is also shown in Seagate Prison, as he is another antagonist from the Cage comics. After the machine that gives Luke his powers explodes, he emerges with bracelets and a metal tiara. After he escapes, he takes a yellow button-up shirt and jeans from the clothesline, along with his beard and hair being unkempt from his time in prison, and tying the pelt around his pants. This is a callback to his original costume during his first appearance and run as Power Man, in which case is ridiculed by the show in a comic fashion when he looks at himself in the car window saying he looks like a damn fool. After punching his way through the wall at Seagate, he even says his comic book catchphrase, "Sweet Christmas." Well, he has said that in Jessica Jones before and a couple more times in the series. That was said in Jessica Jones after a nicer, fun time. Still a noteworthy Easter egg though. Seems like Reaver Connor's flash drive from Jessica Jones, you remember, the one that Kilgrave had Jessica dig up, made it into the show with some relevance set as well. Later being revealed to have all the files on Luke and how he got his abilities, probably stolen from Dr. Burstein. Makes you wonder what Kilgrave wanted this information for, doesn't it? Claire Temple makes a comeback to the Netflix verse as she is 4 for 4 on appearances, having appeared on both seasons of Daredevil, Jessica Jones, and now Luke Cage. We'll definitely expect to see her on the upcoming Iron Fist show, as well as probably the Defenders team-up. Shades gives Cottonmouth a show of the prototype Judas, which he claims can kill Luke Cage. When asked what it's made of, he said it's created from metal recovered from the incident. So we now have Chitauri tech in the hands of street-level villains, giving them a certain edge over superpowered beings like Cage. We get a short introduction to an episode from Trish Walker from Jessica Jones, aka Hellcat in the comics, talking about Luke Cage's heroic antics on her radio show, Trish Talk. You best believe Jessica must know that Luke's a short drive away in Harlem after that. You knocked down a few doors, speaking in church, and now you're Harlem's Captain America? Cottonmouth says it to Luke as an insult, but in reality, in the comics, Luke Cage was given an offshoot of the Super Soldier Serum, which is supposed to have near or similar effects to Captain America. So without Captain America's serum to inspire the scientists, there'd be new Luke Cage. That's neat, right? Seems like that's a little callback to the Captain America origin story, but who knows? Maybe that was intentional, maybe it wasn't. Too many times are we teased by Claire, I have a lawyer friend that can help. Just bring in Murdoch already, that's all we want. Sorry, moving on. We get the first appearance of Diamondback as he shoots Luke with the first Judas bullet. Willis, Diamondback Stryker, was one of Luke Cage's most important nemesis in the early days, as, just like in the show, he framed him in the first place to go to Seagate after Diamondback's girlfriend, Reva Connors, found more comfort in Luke than she did in Diamondback. Fun fact, Diamondback in the comics used signature exploding switchblades, which he threw at people to attack. In the show, he used exploding Judas bullets. Neat callback. In the comics also, Luke had to receive medical help from Claire Temple, who took him to see Dr. Burstein in order to heal him after he first fought Diamondback. Pretty cool to see them keeping the aspect of the comics. The acid bath is pretty new though. Cornell Cottonmouth Stokes dies in the comics just by falling out a window. In this show, he also falls out of one, but isn't necessarily killed by it just yet. At a rally, Mariah Dillard makes a statement about a woman in Hell's Kitchen snapping a man's neck because he was mind controlling her. Come on, I know this one's easy. We all know of Jessica Jones snapping Kilgrave's neck, but we have to explain it anyway because #Easter egg. When Willis Stryker is talking to Shades inside of the Harlem's Paradise Club, Shades says, "What you talking about, Willis?" in reaction to what he says, an obvious reference to the popular sitcom Different Strokes. Misty being shot in the arm, hitting her artery, and being told that she could possibly lose it is obviously a callback to her losing it in the actual comments and being replaced with Tony Stark's bionic arm. In one of the episodes, Claire tricks Diamondback's thugs to allow her to help a person in need. They say, escort the night nurse downstairs. While she might not be the official night nurse, this title is now claimed by Rachel McAdams in the Doctor Strange movie. Claire's character was originally slated to be the nurse. This is just a fun reference to what could have been. Assistant DA Blake Tower makes an appearance, referencing Frank Castle from Daredevil Season 2, saying he shot the city to hell. He references this also when saying that if the Punisher got his hands on one of the Judas weapons, to imagine what he'd be capable of with one of those on the streets. Also, another fun fact, Luke Cage is confirmed to run parallel with Daredevil Season 2. This confirmed even more by Blake Tower being called 88, meaning that Reyes hadn't been killed yet. Shout out to the subtle Stan Lee cameo. A small poster on the side of the shop Luke Cage stops a couple of robbers in has a picture of Stan the Man with the words, "See a crime? Report it." Gotta love Stan Lee, you can even hear it in his voice. Diamondback's pimp stormtrooper suit is actually a callback to his costume from his first appearance. Pretty close in relation, minus the actual helmet. Once again, we get a callback to Hammer Industries, as Diamondback explains his suit is Hammer Tech. Makes sense considering how obsessed Justin Hammer was with replicating the Iron Man technology. An exosuit fits right in with the company's MO. Once again, I know a good lawyer. Claire, we get it. You know Daredevil, just bring him up already. At the end of the last episode, Misty appears in a tight red dress and her hairdo looking a bit different, a reference to her actual do in the comics, and what she looks like on a regular basis. Also, Claire is walking down the street and sees an ad for self-defense classes by someone named Colleen Wing, another character in the Iron Fist mythos. See? Told you she'd be an Iron Fist too. And last but not least, Pop Swear Jar was actually placed in the show for one huge reason. Trying to get the late Prince to appear on the final episode. Seeing as how Prince had one in his home, director Chio Hodari Coker, I hope I didn't slaughter that name, put one in the show as an homage to Prince in order to use that as a bargaining chip to get the famous pop star to appear on the show. Unfortunately, as we all know, the legendary Prince happened to pass away and that just became a pipe dream. That's pretty crazy, right? So yeah, those are all the Easter eggs we could find and research on. Did you find any ones that we missed? If so, let us know in the comments below. And don't forget to subscribe. Thank you everybody for watching. We hope to see you soon in another edition of Comicisms. And remember, as always, believe the hype. Later.
Be sure to subscribe to us here on YouTube, but also check us out on Facebook for updates and memes on comics and gaming, as well as Twitter @TheRealNerdHype to find out when we go live for the Infinity Cast on twitch.tv/nerdhype.